Hi there, I'm Jack Van Ryn, Mayor of the Town of Coaldale. I will be giving you an update from our regular council meeting that was held Monday, February 14th, 2022. And the first item of business was regarding our council meeting location. So right now, a town council meets at the hub instead of in council chambers at the town office. And this is in response to the current pandemic that we are finding ourselves in. And with some of the provincial mandates loosening up, we were talking about whether or not we should stay at the hub or if we're going to move back to the council chambers at the town office for our next meeting that'll be coming up the second Monday in March. So after a discussion, it was decided to table the decision until our next meeting of February 28th to see where we're at with the provincial mandates, and then we'll make a decision at that point. The second item that came up at 5:05 p.m., we had a public hearing regarding video lottery terminals in Coaldale. So we invited the general public to come in person to speak regarding the reinstatement of VLTs in Coaldale, whether they're in favor or against. We had 6 people come out and do a presentation last night, and there was 5 in favor, 1 against reinstating the VLTs. And then we've had over 200 emails and letters sent to council on both sides of the equation. So what occurred as part of that is that there was a motion made that we're going to have the VLT bylaw be brought back to council at the regular council meeting of February 28th for consideration of the second and third reading. So at our next meeting, we will discuss the VLTs one more time around the council table, and from there we'll decide what the next step will be. So we can either give second or third reading, or that we can ask administration to bring back more information, and that we can rescind the first reading and decline the reinstatement of VLT. So that's coming up for February 28th. Then we had our planner, Melanie Messier, bring up a agenda item regarding a land use bylaw amendment. So over by Fast Gas in that commercial district, over by Home Hardware, McDonald's, there's interest by a private resident in bringing in a barber shop and tattoo shop. So because that falls under discretionary use under personal services, we have to make an amendment. So that requires a change to the bylaw. So we passed first reading last night for that amendment, and it'll be coming back to council for the March 14th, 2022 meeting at 5:25 p.m. We're going to have a public hearing before we decide if we're going to pass second and third readings to allow this new business opportunity to come into Coaldale. Then we had Cindy Hoffman, our community services manager. She presented to council regarding the community grants right now that Coaldale gives out every year. And in the last 5 years, we've given back to the community over $181,000 of fines collected through our photo radar program that I like to call education tax. So the grant applications are currently open right now, and you can apply up until May 4th. And if you go to the Town of Coaldale website, you can download the package, or you can go to the town office and you can pick up an application as well. And I strongly suggest any nonprofit groups that are looking for some additional funding, this is a great opportunity that you can support your own group. Then we had Cameron Mills, our Director of Growth and Investment, make a presentation on a parcel of land that is just south of McDonald's. It used to be referred to as the Corny Martins property. and there's a private developer company, Dominic Land Developments Corporation, that's going to be developing that entire area. The area structure plan that basically outlines how that development is going to look was completed in 2003, and that needs to be updated. It's over 20 years old. So as part of that, we'll be having a public engagement. Will be the first step in the process prior to development of any new plans in that area. So Council passed a motion last night that to direct administration to prepare a public engagement plan for Council's consideration at an upcoming meeting of Council. So that'll be coming back for ratification, and then we'll invite the general public to have some input on that as well. Then under departmental reports, we had RCMP quarterly report, and it was sent to us on January 26th with some statistics regarding the town of Coledale. And I reached out with a couple of questions to our local detachment, and Sergeant David Maritet responded, and I just wanted to mention a couple of things that I thought was quite interesting. And according to the statistics that they presented, over the last 4 years, we've seen a 69% drop in theft under $5,000 regarding calls for service for the RCMP. And one thing that really piqued my interest was that in 2020, we had one motor vehicle stolen, and then it showed that in 2021, that stat went up 200%. So when I inquired about that, it was the case of where one individual stole 3 vehicles, and just by doing that, it increased our statistics by 200% for stolen vehicles. The only property crime category that we saw a rise in was mischief, damage to property. In 2020, we had 9 calls for that, and in 2021, we had 15, so that's up 67%. And some of the examples of this are vandalism to buildings in Coledale. There was some damage done to police vehicles by prisoners, damage to cells, graffiti in the public, breaking windows, breaking car windows, and so forth. So overall, in terms of property crime in Coledale, is actually very safe on a divisional level, I was told. The majority of property crime calls in Coledale that are real are typically related to individuals testing vehicle doors through the night to see if anyone can get into vehicles and steal what's ever inside. And then in the summer, that also encompasses unsecured bicycles that are stolen, and our more significant property crime files are being the result of habitual offenders that are routinely in and out of prison and in the criminal justice system. So one other comment that was loud and clear is that it's important for our residents, no matter how small of an item it is, make sure you report it to the RCMP. If you see anybody walking down the street trying people's car doors, obviously if you see anybody in your neighbor's yard or your own yard, make sure you call that in, because they need that information so that they can track what's going on and also look into these offenses. We then had a verbal report on the Emergency Advisory Committee by Councillor Lisa Reese, and that's something that I brought in as part of this term, is that once a month I want to have one member of council give us an update on one of the committees that they sit on, just to kind of keep the rest of council what's in the loop with what's going on. Then under correspondence, we had a letter from our RCMP Deputy Commissioner, and that goes back to a meeting that myself, Councillor Chapman, and our CAO, Kaylin Hastings, had with K Division when we were up in Edmonton for our AUMA conference. And this goes back several years now, where Coledale is the only municipality in all of Canada where we're paying 100% of policing costs based on our population, which falls between 5,000 and 15,000 people. So if you're under 5,000, your policing is covered. You don't have to, the municipality doesn't have to pay for that. And if you're between 5,000 and 15,000, you have to pay 70% of the costs. And then if you're over 15,000, you have to pay 90% of the costs. So Coaldale is the only municipality in all of Canada paying full 100%. And we've been talking with the RCMP for years over this. And every time we seem to see some light at the end of the tunnel, there's a change either on the federal level or the provincial level that we have to kind of hit the reset button on again and start the procedure over again. So thankfully our administration team is very organized and they have the package. So the K Division asked us to resend that again, and hopefully we can get through this sooner than later. Then we also had a letter from a resident, Clive Shopmeyer, and Clive lives on the north side of Highway 3 near the Birds of Prey wetlands, and he sent a letter to council on behalf of himself and some concerned residents as to the future of Northwest Coaldale now that the school and the multi-rec center is going in. So myself, Deputy Mayor Jason Avery, and our council rep on the Birds of Prey Foundation, Councillor Lisa Reese, are going to sit down with Clive and his group to discuss some concerns that they have. And they want to look at what the future looks like for Northwest Coaldale. And speaking about the Birds of Prey, we've also invited Colin Weir to come to council and give us a presentation on what's going on at the Birds of Prey, what's new and upcoming, and also to give him opportunity to speak on any concerns that Colin may have as well. Then we also had, under information items, we had our minutes from the Emergency Advisory Committee. We also had a letter from MP Rachel Thomas, and that's regarding a youth advisory board. And that's where she's accepting applicants up until March 18th. And that information I'll have posted at the bottom of this YouTube video in the comment section, where ages 16 to 24, they're looking for people. I'll just read what it says here. As the Member of Parliament, I want your voice at the table. This opportunity is open to all youth between the ages of 16 and 14 who live within the Lethbridge riding. This is a non-partisan opportunity, meaning that youth of all political backgrounds are welcome to apply. Applicants don't need to be experts in policy. They just need to be curious and committed to learning. And again, the applications close March 18th. And I've worked with Rachel on many events, and I think it's a great opportunity for our youth to get involved. So again, I'll have the link in the comment section. And then we also had a letter from Municipal Affairs regarding the Alberta Summer Games, to see if Coaldale would have any interest in applying for that. And right now, we do not have facilities to make that happen. But with the opening of the multi-rec center in spring of 2024, we could look at doing the Southern Alberta Summer Games. So we directed staff at last night's meeting to come back with a proposal to see if that's something that we should pursue. And once our new facility is up and running with the joint high school, we don't see any issues whatsoever with hosting something like this. So we're excited to see that come back. And basically that's it for last night's meeting. Again, I appreciate any comments or feedback. It's important that if you see me on the street, please stop and have a conversation with me. Also, with me posting these updates, I would appreciate if you would subscribe to the YouTube channel I'm doing this on, And also please share so the community can be kept in the loop with what's going on. And I'll also have my email address and my phone number at the end of this video. And again, if you have any questions, concerns, reach out. I'm always available. So thank you very much. Take care.